Do you know that you actually have a choice between benefit finding or fault finding? It really depends on through which glasses you look in your daily life to see more the positive or the negative aspect of any given situation. In this video, I want to show you whether you lean more towards the default of benefit finding or fault finding, and I give you a couple of ideas on what to do to lean more towards benefit finding for a more balanced view. Welcome to the series Mental Health Bites. Navigate life, thrive, and have positive impact. So, if you look at research, it's actually quite depressing. We humans are one bunch of, because we actually all lean more towards the negative. It has a couple of reasons. For example, we learn more and quicker if we have negative enforcement in learning. We also tend to think that negative information has more value than positive information, and we weigh the negative aspects of a situation more than the positive if we make decisions. So we all have more tendency to lean towards the negative than the positive. Also, from an evolutionary point of view, it makes a lot of sense to look out for more what could potentially harm us or be in our way than to check for what's good in our lives. No wonder that if you look at the media landscape, that most of the clicks will be received by bad news, not by good news. There's another reason that I actually learned yesterday in a podcast. Bad news travel faster. If the Titanic sinks, people know this the next day, but if the unemployment rate goes down, that is a much slower news cycle and it's not that exciting. So there we go. Lots of reasons why most of us are really trained to have more a critical outview on life. So why do we need more benefit finding? I'm not talking here about positivity and toxic positivity. I'm really actually staying away from that, because toxic positivity means that you negate the negative emotions you might have. You always look for anything that's positive in a situation, and everything that could go wrong you don't look at or dismiss, or any negative emotions you hold, you just don't let it come up. And you can imagine, if you do this for a while, the negative emotions or the strong emotions like anger, frustration or sadness, they will burst up at some stage, and they need to, because they have a right to be in your life. So no, this is not about toxic positivity. This is about looking at a situation and weighing up the positive and the negative. It has a lot of benefits to actually have a more benefit orientation in your life, because positive emotions have a reason too. They give us more information. If we are in a better mood, we take more information in and we can connect the information better. So also it lightens our mood. It gives us more mental health boost. Here is how benefit finding works. I give you an example. When I studied benefit finding, we actually just had moved from Australia to Malaysia with my family, and I wasn't having it. I was actually grieving, I was sad, I was not in a good state. And I would walk the dog every night around our compound, round by round, and I would talk to myself about everything that is wrong in this situation. I can't go for my run, it's too hard, it's not safe. The kids have to get used to a new school. There is not much to do because it's so hot, you need to stay in shopping malls all the time, and I'm an outdoor person, blah, 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 on and I went. And when I came back home, I was in a really foul mood. Then I learned the benefit finding technique, which means to flip it and to look for the positive in a situation. So I literally took the other way around the loop with my dog, and I would say to myself, out loud what's the positive. This is amazing. Malaysia is in such a good spot. There's so many destinations we can reach in no time. I can reinvent myself here. I have more time for my positive psychology studies. The kids are in an amazing new school. It's a brand new school and they make new friends and they have a lot of positive, different academic stimuli, blah, 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 on and on. And when I then came back home, I felt more uplifted. I don't want to say that everything was easy, but I had more energy to actually cope with what needed to be coped with. We also have a default setting. Some of us are more optimistic in nature. It's easy for them to see the positive. Others are more pessimistic, or often they call themselves realistic, and they see more from the get-go what might not work in a situation or what's wrong about this or that. And one way to find out is just by looking at yourself and answering a couple of questions. For example, how do you take compliments? Do you dismiss them? Do you immediately give one back? Or can you just simply enjoy it? Or what about your general trust in people? Do you actually think that others are out to get you more likely? Or do you think others are potentially to be trusted first until they misuse your trust? That could be a difference. The other one could be, do you blame yourself or others easily if things go wrong? And you look for why and what, and then you go into blame mode. Or do you catch yourself or others judging them quickly for their behavior or their looks or any of that? That might be a little bit of those experiences and behaviors might be indicators, but actually I think you would already know what your personal outlook on life is. And if you think you would like to have a bit more benefit finding in your life, then you do the following. You start small. When the next time a decision is to be made and you immediately go into why this wouldn't work, the thing is, catch yourself. I'm looking for what's not working, and that's okay. And what is working? So the word and is now from this point on your best friend. Whenever you meet another person and you have something negative coming up in you, you say, and this person actually just smiled towards the end of the conversation with me. So look for what is working in any given situation and train that. You can train that actually by setting yourself a goal like, I'm going to do this for one day to just test it out. Or you say, I'm going to do it with people, or I'm going to do it with things. Start it fairly small, because if you now say to yourself, from this moment on, I'm going to become a benefit finder, that might not work. So although we want you to wear those glasses more, start small with the word and. So you pledge to yourself that if a situation comes, you tend to see what's not working, that you add the and in and see whether you can find the positive in situation. If you do this more and more time, you train your brain. Your brain will get the message, hang on, this person is scanning for what's working. And this scanning process of what's working becomes another sort of default. It starts small, but it will get stronger in your brain to help you to look for the positive. And then you hopefully have a more balanced view and you see the negative. It's not going to go away, but you also can see the positive. That in itself will give you more upbeat, it will give you more energy, and it will give you a more balanced outlook towards life. And that would be wonderful if most of us could have more of that, because we do have enough of bitterness in our world. So let's look for the positive. If you like this video, please do subscribe. I'm going to give you more mental health bites for everyday life as the time comes. Thank you.